The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name's Tom Addis, and I am substituting for Mr. John Kulo this morning, so I apologize for that. But at the same time, it's really, really nice to be here this morning with you for this Catalyst presentation. Look forward to it. I've been looking forward to it since Zeb was scheduled. He's one of our top communications and media persons in Southern California. And we appreciate Zeb being here. He's the owner of Wellborn Media. He happens to be currently the president of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. We both serve on the advisory board for the California Golf Course Owners Association. So we're able to share some meeting time there. Some of the notable things, Zeb is founder of Golf Chat. He's author of The Social Golf Course and host currently of what's called the Defining Success podcast. So look for that on your podcast channels. He's formerly been named Chino Valley Citizen of the Year. His office is in Chino. Been recognized as Chino Hills Business of the Year. One of the top 10 game changers by then Southland Golf Magazine, and one of the 10 most innovative people in the golf marketing business by Golf Incorporated magazine, one of our top trade magazines that we're able to share. Zeb's passions include his family, helping businesses grow, and of course, social media marketing, which we'll be talking about today, education and learning all about golf. You'll notice on your panel that there's a link for questions. We would encourage you to write in your question, and Bryce Seaver, our producer of this program, or myself will bring the questions forward to Zeb, barring there's enough time to do so. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Zeb Wellborn.
Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate that. So thank you for the kind introduction. That was great. So that was fun to hear. So today I'm going to be talking about using your club's social media as a revenue generator. I understand that most of you are golf professionals, so working in the golf industry as golf professionals. And so I've kind of geared the presentation to kind of help show you, one, why you should be using social media as a golf professional, but then also talking about a bigger picture about the golf course itself using social media as a tool to help drive revenue. So both of those things are going to be covered today. One of the things I wanted to ask of all of you is I know I hope there's a chat feature. If you're able to use it, I'd love to have you write your name and where you're from, which course you're with. And then also, in addition to that, I would like to ask, like, in your career, like, what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish as a golf professional with the SCPGA? Are you looking, what are you looking to do? So if you wouldn't mind, as I kind of start the beginning of this presentation, put your name, put the golf course you're with, and put your ultimate goal of what you're trying to achieve in your career. Because I think that if you really think about what you're trying to accomplish, I think that as a golf professional, that social media is an excellent tool to help you get where you want to go. And I'm going to highlight some perfect examples of those as we go through our chat today. So here's what I'm talking about a social golf pro. So I wrote the book called The Social Golf Course. I started at Los Serranos Country Club. That was where I got my start doing social media. And actually, I worked there in the cart barn when I was a kid. So I worked there from the time I was 17, and I worked there for about 7 years while I was going through college. I taught a little bit. I worked in the golf shop. I worked so I kind of worked all the different areas of a golf course, operations. And I left there when I became a high school history teacher. So I taught high school history for 4 years. I left teaching. I started my own business, which turned into my marketing business. And I went back to Los Serranos, and this is back in probably 2010 when social media had really just started. And I told Los Serranos, I was like, hey guys, I think that this is a thing you should be aware of, and I'd love to take it on for you. And so I started doing their social media. And by 2012, they were named the California Golf Course of the Year. They had, I think they were seeing record numbers in terms of golfers coming to the golf course, and one of the reasons why they're named Golf Course of the Year was because of their communications, their social media stuff that we were posting back then. Because of that, I wrote the book called The Social Golf Course, which is how to use social media to increase rounds and revenue at your golf course. And so with that, I kind of modified it for our presentation today to talk about the Social Golf Pro. And these are tips that you guys can use to help enhance your presence. And when I remember having a conversation, there was a shift over in leadership over at Los Serranos, and I was talking with the general manager who had taken over, and one of the things that he had talked to me then, this is when I was kind of let go from Los Serranos, which is why I wrote the book and started getting these other Southern California golf courses as clients of mine, was he had kind of said, Zeb, I don't think the social media thing is going anywhere. I think it's a fad. I don't think it's going to be around for a while. So I think we all in the golf industry realize that it's not a fad, but those are the conversations I was having really early on, was that social media is a fad. I don't understand it. I don't think it's going to be here. And I think we all know how important and valuable social media is. So the conversations I'm having with folks now are drastically different from the conversations I was having when I first started this. What I kind of wanted to highlight is I'm highlighting a couple of folks, and some of these folks you probably know. And actually, I know one of them is on the call today. So Bob Laskin at Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club, I'm going to highlight him a little bit. I'm going to talk about Michael Block. I know that he's one of the key members of the SCPGA. Mark, and I hope I pronounced it right. Mark Cagoen, Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club. We're going to highlight them a little bit. Michael Wolpuff, who was the superintendent at Arroyo Trabuco, and then Monterey Country Club. So this is just a little bit about me and kind of my golf background. Like I mentioned, I started at Los Serranos Country Club when I was a kid. I've worked with a lot of different golf courses handling their social media. I work with some golf tech companies. So if you've ever heard of Shots in the Night at Indian Wells, we help them in the beginning stages of their business, helping get them funded. We're working with a new company called Clean Caddy, which you may or may not have heard of, but they're a portable golf ball washers. Stuff like that. So we work with not just golf courses, but a lot of golf products as well. So in the book, I highlight a couple of things. One more thing I'll talk about. Also, what I do in golf is every year I've hosted the Southern California Charity Golf Classic. So we pretty much choose 5 different local golf charities. We run a golf tournament. So we always sell out that golf tournament, and we host that here in Southern California every year. So I want to talk about, in the book, there's a chapter, and I was doing research about so I was talking with Tom when I got on the call earlier today about David Kramer, who is the owner of Los Serranos Country Club, and he's a big golf historian. And so one of the things one of the things he would always share with me, he's like, you know what, Zeb, I think golf is really the first form of social media. And so he would say that to me all the time. And so I wanted to do a little bit of research, and I was a history major in college, so I went back and kind of reviewed some old historical documents and stuff. And there's some things struck out to me. And one of the things that I'd like to call is I want to encourage everyone to think of golf and to think of golf as if they're St. Andrews. So we called it the St. Andrews model, right? So in one of the books that I was reading is comparing Prestwick versus St. Andrews. Many of you, some of you probably know, but many of you may not know that the Open, the British Open, or whatever you want to call it, the first 11 years happened at Prestwick. So Prestwick was the home of the Open for the first 11 years. But when we say, what is the home of golf, or where is the home of golf, everybody, of course, is going to say St. Andrews. And why is that? If the Open, the thing that's, the most famous thing that St. Andrews is known for, if it started at Prestwick, wouldn't the home of golf be Prestwick? And so why is it that St. Andrews is called the home of golf? And if you go to the 2 different places, you get a distinct feel of these 2 different opportunities. My dad's been lucky enough to play St. Andrews, and so when you go there, there's just history everywhere. There's golf history everywhere. They really tell their story. The people of St. Andrews are invested in that story, and so everything that comes out of that, St. Andrews is the home of golf. Prestwick, and you go there, and there's a stark difference. Is that they don't have those same historical elements to kind of tell their story. Of course, it's a very prominent, well-known course, but it's definitely not on the same level as St. Andrews. So what the point I'm trying to get across here with this was that it's important to tell your story. It's important to make sure that you are promoting your golf course or your golf professional career as much as possible. And that's what the people of St. Andrews did. So I encourage all of you to be more like St. Andrews. And then the reason why I kind of have it there, normally I would go full screen, but every time I go full screen and I share a presentation like this, there's always a lag when I'm going back and forth between slides. So to make sure that I don't do that, I just have it a little bit less obvious for you to see. So that's why I'm doing it this way, just so you know. And I'm also going to be sharing some of the tabs when I'm highlighting those different individuals I was talking about earlier. The other thing I want to talk about is social media is changing our economy. What I mean by that is that as a history major, this is something we studied. I studied when I was in college, like communications and how communications is changing our world. So mass media is like your newspapers, your news programs, your whatever, and it's all those things that every single person is aware of. When you shift to a social media type or the social media campaign, it's you're getting your information from individual people, and everybody has a voice, which is totally different from mass media. In mass media, you have to be able to go through a publisher, you have to be able to they have to be able to let you put your stuff in there, and then you can send it out. Well, now everybody has a voice, which means that our community is getting much more localized. And so it's really important for people, especially in business, to leverage social media, because if you're not, you're kind of absent from that whole social media campaign. Before, you would put advertising in a newspaper, now it's being active on your social media channels. So all of your customers have a voice. There's also a big difference between push and pull marketing. So if you're a business and you're promoting your business and you're like an advertisement in a newspaper or a commercial, those are all what we would call push marketing messages. It's an advertisement. It's, hey, come buy my stuff. There's a shift now where you're getting the people that are making purchases and purchasing decisions are not, they're just ignoring those push messages. And I'll give you guys a perfect example of how that relays itself in real life. Is if you watch TV, and actually TV's even changed a lot since I started giving this presentation. But when I first started, it was like DVR was a thing, right? So I would ask the question is, how many of you actually watch commercials? And there might be a couple of people that raise their hands, but most people don't, because most people don't watch commercials. Most people will get on their DVR, they'll record something, they'll wait a few hours after it goes live, they'll go back, they'll push the play button, and then they'll fast forward through the commercials. So if you do that, you are avoiding sales messages. It's the same thing if you're looking at your social media feed, you're scrolling through, you instantly know which ones are sales messages versus which ones are like something that's of interest to you. And so that's why it's especially important for golf courses to be active on social media, is because people are interested in golf. It's a great way to pull people into your business, your organization, and to be aware of your product and services. So people are constantly avoiding those sales messages. It's also localizing our economy. And what I mean by that is before, I mean, there's like a high barrier to get into like commercials, or to put a commercial on TV. There's a big high barrier for that. That's not the case anymore. To reach your customers, you just have to have a social media channel and build up some kind of following, and you can reach people locally much easier. You can also reach people nationally much easier. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So many of you are probably aware of like, and when I first started giving this, like, this wasn't really a thing, but you have all of these golf influencers that are shooting golf videos and doing great things. They're building this massive, large followings of stuff, and they can influence the golf industry. And so the golf niche is something that you want, that you guys are all aware of now. You guys are probably all follow those different golfers on social media that have their golf presence. But essentially, social media is word of mouth on steroids. So if you're looking to grow revenue, you're looking to get people to come to your golf course, whether you're private or whether you're public, social media is a great way to build up that word of mouth. And most people will tell you in their business, that if you're a golf professional and you're looking for new lessons, the most likely place is word of mouth, right? You're going to get your friends of people that are already getting lessons from you. They're going to refer you to somebody else, and then they're going to come in and you're going to get those lessons. And that's what most businesses work in that way. And social media is word of mouth on steroids. If I'm a happy customer of yours, you're a golf professional, I get lessons from you, and I love you, I think you're awesome, I might tell 2 or 3 people in person. If I take lessons with you and I take a picture or a video and I shoot it and I post it on social media and I say, dude, this guy's awesome, it's going out to my entire following. And depending on who you are and what you have, the average is, I can't remember what it's changed over time. So it used to be like 150. It's a lot higher than that now, probably. So at the minimum, you're reaching 150 people. If you have somebody that has a massive following, you're going to get substantially more people aware of who you are and what you do. And I'm going to highlight some of those perfect examples as we go through this. It's also a really good way to identify people who are potential customers. When you post something and people start commenting on your posts or liking your stuff, it's a really easy indication for you to say, hey, this person is interested in the stuff that I'm doing. I can now reach out to this person and see if they're interested in participating. So it's a great way to identify people who could be your core customers. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for people who could be promoters of you. And then what golf courses need to do is get more people talking about golf online. One of the things, as golf was struggling previously, although now I realize most golf courses are doing really well right now. But what golf course at the time, it was a challenge. We were losing lots of golfers, and I think that the main thing that we needed to do was get more people talking about golf online, because the way that we talk about social media is changing our economy. Social media is changing behaviors in people. So we all are looking for social validation, and that's kind of like going back to why you join a private golf club. You want to have that social, you get those social cues or those social feedback that says that I'm in a good position or that I have this group of friends or whatever it is. There's a social element to why people join golf clubs, and that social element has shifted to social media. And so a lot of people are taking those social media cues to elevate their status or whatever you want to call it. And so it's really important for golf courses to be there, because golf is really built on social cues. It's really built on the reason why a lot of people play and participate and do all that stuff is because of these social cues that are in our behaviors. So how can being social increase profits? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in detail later, but I'll give kind of a brief run through. And this stuff is all in the book. So if any of you are interested in getting the book, shoot me an email and I'd be happy to send that over to you. But golfers, so number one, golfers are using social media. I don't think people don't think this is the case anymore, but when I first started trying to get golf courses using social media, they're like, my golfers don't use social media. They're in their 60s, they don't use social media. I think we can all kind of agree that that's really not the case anymore. You'll have a handful of people that don't, and there's probably some of you on this call that don't really use it, but the majority of people do, and the majority of golfers do, and so it's really a place that you definitely need to be. We did a study in the book and we talked about exposure. How much exposure do we get with social media, and for the amount of money you would pay for social media versus newspaper? And when they did it, we did it for hiring a company like myself. But it was like pennies on the dollar. You're reaching way more people than you would if you did an ad in a newspaper, a magazine, on radio or television. And that was the main thing that a lot of golf courses were investing in those golf magazines at the time, or other things like that. And while I still think that that's probably a good thing, the social media is going to be you're going to get way more bang for your buck if you're going to be using social media tools. Let's see, let me give another thing that is you can encourage golfers to play more often. I think that's probably the big thing that social media brings to a golf course is not only do you get people to play your course, which most people would think of, but you get your golfers to play golf at your golf course more often. And I want to give you a perfect example of one of the things that we did at one of our golf courses that highlights that. Is we had a junior golfer, what was her name? Tamara Roy at Los Serranos. So one of the things when I first started, I asked a question on our social media page that was like, hey, what would you like to see of more on our social media channels? And this lady chimed in. Her name was Tamara Roy. She chimed in and wrote, we would love to see more pictures of your junior golfers. I said, okay, cool. So I went to the golf course. I asked if they had any pictures of junior golf courses, and they said yes. They had just had a golf tournament. They took a picture of her daughter, which I found out just because they had the same last name, right? Amanda Roy. So I took that picture and I posted it on their social media page, and I tagged her. And I said, congratulations to Amanda for winning second place in our junior golf tournament last week, you know. And the mom went, the mom was like super excited. So for 10 years, she commented on every single post we made at the golf course, which increases your engagement, which increases people that like it. That junior golfer, and I'm not saying it's entirely because of that one post, but that junior golfer golfed there, you know, that was their home golf course. So all the golf balls, all the rounds of golf, all the stuff with their parents and all the participations there, all the friends they brought to the golf course over the years. I mean, all of these things paid off, you know, 10, 100, multiple times folded, you know, and those are ways that you can get people to play your golf course more often. So I think I've seen that time and time again where you have people that play the golf course maybe a handful of times, but when you highlight them, like let's say they get a hole in one at your golf course, or they win a golf tournament, or they do whatever, and you highlight those golfers on your social media, it does two things. Is one, it adds validation to them, but two, you have people that see them on that social media channel, and it starts a conversation amongst people at the golf course. And when you are able to do that, you get people more comfortable being at the golf course, want to spend more time there, and ultimately want to spend more dollars there, you know. So that's one thing. Another thing is like with the advertising feature, it's super easy to target golfers in your region. So you can target people within a 10-mile radius that like golf. So if you're a private golf course and you're not using Facebook ads, it's like the easiest thing to do to try to build leads into your golf course. Same thing for golf professionals. If you're looking for lessons, you can easily target golfers. It's minimal cost to reach golfers that are in your area, especially if you create a compelling ad that would get people to click on the link and give you their email address or comment on your post or something like that. So you can target golfers super easily on Facebook, and that's the reason why doing social media on golf, or doing as a golf course, doing social media is a no-brainer. Is because it's just so easy to target golfers, and you get target golfers within your 10 miles of your course, you know, the people that are most likely to play your course and most likely to be there. It's just an easy way to reach golfers in your area, especially if you're highlighting the best of your golf course. Another thing it does is it helps you build a better business. So if you want to, like you get feedback on the stuff that's going wrong at your golf course or the stuff that's going well, you know. I think a lot of people look at negative criticism on Facebook and or social media, and they immediately discredit it. I think if you use that to build a better business, the golf courses are going to be better. So if you have an experience where you have a lot of people that are having issues with rangers not being out on the golf course, and that's a consistent theme, maybe that's a good idea. That's one of the things that's deterring people from playing your golf course, you know, or you get that feedback that things are going wrong on particular parts of the golf course. It's important to take feedback in order to build a better business so that people are not, that's not a consistent concern with people for those things that are trying to help it. And it's not just good, it's bad. It's not just bad, it's good things too. It's like, hey, I love the way that this person is, or, you know, at Los Serranos, there was like a snack stand gal that everybody would always say like, oh, she's so great, you know, everybody loves her. So that's the type of stuff that, you know, like, okay, this is somebody that we need to keep around, you know. And then I want to give you a couple examples. Like, I don't want to go through this in detail because they're pretty self-explanatory. So if you want to take a pictures of like, one thing that I think people get a lot of like lost in is like, well, what kind of content can I put on social media? And you guys probably can take cues from a lot of people now. It was probably much more of a question earlier on, but these are some examples of things that you can put and highlight. And I call macro content is like long form content, meaning that it's more than just a sentence or two, but it's something that you can use to highlight your golf course. At Arroyo Trabuco, there was the guy who built the course was, oh gosh, I think it was Tom Lehman. I'm not certain about that. But anyways, he got a hole-in-one on his first round of golf at the golf course that he built, and there's a plaque that's out there on hole number, I can't remember, it's 4 or 5 or something like that. But there's a plaque that's on there that kind of commemorates that moment, and that's a perfect example of a long-form story that really sells the story of your golf course, so that whenever people go there, there's a story to tell. And so we call those 19th hole stories, you know. And those are my favorite stories to tell. And I'm going to show an example of one later on about a 19th hole story. But those ones are the stories that people tell in the clubhouse, you know. They're the stories that keep people there. And I think that the clubhouse, or that 19th hole experience, is something that you really want to be cognizant of and cultivate. And you can do that online too. And I think a lot of golf courses just disregard that and don't do that. And I think there's a huge opportunity for golf courses to leverage those. You can highlight your membership programs, post hole-in-ones, give golf tips and lessons. We're going to show somebody that does that really well. You can highlight different departments. I'm going to show that later too. You can talk about what it's like becoming a golf professional. You can spotlight some of your golfers. Meet this foursome. It would be like, you know, here's a foursome that plays every week. Let's take a picture of them and talk about, you know, when they started, why they're connected with each other. You know, these are all things that you can use and post on social media and your website and different places. Micro content, or things that are just, you know, like a little blurb here and there. You know, you can use quotes, fill in the blanks. My favorite thing, and what I do most often when I'm doing social media, is asking questions, and like fill in the blank stuff. I think anything that gets people to engage, because what you'll find is Facebook and their algorithms, the social media algorithms, take certain cues. So if people share your post, that's a good thing. It means that Facebook will show up your stuff to more, any social media channel will show up your stuff to more people. So if they're commenting on it, that's another cue. If they're clicking the like button on it, that's another cue. If there's a video and they're watching all the way through, that's another cue. And so all of these things that you're doing will help you reach more people. And so I do like to tend to use more questions and fill in the blanks and stuff like that to encourage people to engage. And videos, obviously, is all the social media channels have talked about going towards video content. So it's really important if you're moving forward in this environment and you're trying to use social media to grow your business, to grow your revenue at your golf courses, to have a video marketing strategy and leveraging videos to do that. And it doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. It can be really inexpensive. And I'm going to show you some perfect examples of that in a few. Reputation management is really important for your golf course. The co-author of my book was John Hakeem from greenskeeper.org. And John, if you're familiar with greenskeeper.org, it's just a group of golf courses that review golf courses so that people know the experience there. And it is really important to manage your reputation. And oftentimes, probably the biggest thing that, like, most people just ignore positive or negative comments that are made on review sites. So whether it be, your Golf Now or your greenskeeper.org or wherever those reviews take place, most golf courses will just kind of ignore it, even if they see it. And that's a bad strategy to have. You want to engage with all of these golfers, whether they like the course or not, because it shows that you care. It shows that the golf course cares about their experience at the golf course. Customer service doesn't just stop while people are on the golf course. It extends now beyond the golf course and onto online and virtual platforms. So you want to be aware of that, and you want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind. So the one thing is like negative comments, you just respond to that. The one tip that I'll give you is you always want to take those negative comments offline. So you want to try to get them to email you or give you a phone call or take it offline, so you're not having a public debate back and forth with the customer. You say, we're really sorry you had this experience. Why don't we chat about it and see if we can resolve your issue, or come to an understanding. It doesn't mean you have to give them free golf. It doesn't mean you have to do anything with them. It just means most of these people just want to be heard and know that their complaints are valid and that you understand where they're coming from, because I can tell you when I've left negative reviews on stuff, it's because I genuinely liked the place and I just had a bad experience that made me go there. And so that's why I'm leaving the review, because I genuinely really want to keep playing the golf course, but I have this internal thing inside of me that's like, you did me wrong and I want to make sure that you pay for it, so that's where a lot of people come from when they leave negative reviews. But you also want to comment back on the positive reviews, and most people ignore those too. You really want to thank those people, because they're your ambassadors. They're the people that are going to be your referral sources. They're the people who are saying great things about your golf course. So don't neglect those people either. You can use it for lead generation, and that's one thing that I think would be super easy for private courses, any public course that has any kind of membership option. Getting people to sign up for that membership program. You can run a Facebook ad with a compelling image or compelling video, a quick little sales page, and then you're generating leads really easily. So if you're looking for add members to your golf course, add members to your discount golf program, whatever you want to call it, lead generation is a real easy thing to do, particularly with the social media channels. And when I say social media, I'm typically talking about Facebook and Instagram are the two best for golf courses. I think Instagram is probably better for golf courses now, but it was Facebook. But Facebook controls the platforms and the advertising platforms. So when you advertise on Facebook, you're advertising on Facebook and Instagram. High quality video content. This is something that I've added recently. This is something that every golf course should have. And when I think the investment for doing a social media or doing some of this stuff that you have, these online assets that you have, pay for themselves over and over and over again. So what I want to ask of you is, how much would it cost to, and I look at it in like foursomes, right? So would one foursome, if we did social media posting on your page every day for a week, would one foursome pay for that? One foursome of golfers. If you took out one golfer, would that posting of social media every single day bring in more than one foursome of golfers? And I think now I'm hoping that by the end of this, your answer would be obviously it's going to bring in way more than just one foursome a month. One foursome a month. It's going to bring in potentially substantially larger numbers than that. Same thing with high quality video content. You're going to have that piece of high quality video content on your website, on your platforms for years. And is that video content going to be bringing in more than 1, 2 foursomes in that 5-year span? The answer to that is going to be obviously yes, it will. So those are the things I want to share. I want to show with you this video that we did. This is for the CGCOA. I know that Tom, when he started, he and I are advisory members on the CGCOA board, and so this is the video we tried to show. But this is a video they're going to be promoting pretty heavily here in California over the next few months. So you may or may not have seen it already from the CGCOA. But let me an example of what some high quality video content has the potential to do if you have this highlighting your golf course or your lessons for that matter.
Golf is good because California employs 128,000 people. Golf is good because California golf courses pay $4.1 billion in wages. Golf is good because California golf courses produce $364 million for charity. Golf is good because California golf courses use less than 1% of potable water. Golf is good because it gives you a chance to play golf with your dad.
Golf is good because it supplies mental, physical, and spiritual benefits to your health.
Golf is good because it allows families to golf together.
So I share that with you just as an example of like a piece of high quality video content and how good it could be for, you know, having on your golf course for 4 or 5 years. So let me go back to the presentation here. So I talked about this already, but I mean, doing those things, will this activity, and for me, it's based on the experience that I've had. I could share hundreds of stories of golfers who have articulated how they've come to play golf at different golf courses. I'll tell you another example, which I like to share sometimes, is we ran a contest. So one of my clients, it was a social media contest. We ran it. They got a chance to win a free round of golf if they commented on like who the winner of one of the majors was or something like that. So they ended up winning the contest. They played the course, and I got a message from them that says, "Oh, I'm so excited. I've never played this course before. I am super excited to play it." And then about 3 months later, he sent me a message that says, "Hey, you know, because when I exchanged back and forth, I let him know that my name's Zeb and stuff." So he's like, "Zeb, I just wanted to let you know that I had never played this golf course before. And over the last 3 months, I've played it 10 times. Each time I brought new different folks to come and play it. It's like a hidden gem. I never knew this was here. And I'm so excited that I had the opportunity to play here. And I just wanted to thank you." And so with that, you're talking about, this is just one example of how that one thing that we did on social media inspired this person. Essentially, they played 10 times, brought friends. Those friends likely played there more times as a result of that. And so at the minimum, we could track 40 rounds of golf that come from that one thing that we did on social media. And so those 40 rounds of golf and the 3-month time span, is all of this stuff worth it? And really, it's inexpensive to run a social media campaign. You can use your staff to do it. You can do it. You can have somebody like myself come in and do it. And so it's to me, it's just a no-brainer. If you're a golf course, you should be doing social media, and ideally you're doing it well. And I'm going to show you an example of like what doing it well looks like versus what doing it not well looks like, you know. So these are 2 examples of 2 golf courses. This is from a while ago when I gave a presentation a while ago, but here's the 2 examples. I think what a lot of people used to think is like, do what you would put on your bulletin board, right? You like put a flyer of your upcoming excellent weekend rates, you know, and you put that up there and thinking that that's going to inspire people to get engaged on social media. And what you'll see, if you look on the right hand side, there's 1 like on this post, there's no comments, there's no shares. And so very few people saw this, number one, but the people that did just scrolled past it because it wasn't something that spoke to them at all. Versus the one on the left, which builds this culture of people who are coming together, working together, and these people are anyways, this is one of our client courses. They got a hole-in-one at the golf course. They talked, it's the first hole-in-one of the season. They got it in the golf league, how awesome it is. They have a picture of the guy. They have a picture of the scorecard. They're showcasing that. And you can see the amount of engagement or the amount of reach that got for this small golf course. They had a following of, you know, less than 1,000 when we started. And this post reached, you know, way more than that. It had a lot of people liking and commenting on it, et cetera, et cetera. Now here's another example of like what I would call a 19th hole story, you know. Many of you guys may know this person as well. So John Powell, he's a golfer at, well, he's a head golfer, but he was the head professional at Los Serranos Country Club for years and years. So when I first started working in the cart barn at Los Serranos, John Powell was the head pro. He retired, but he still gives lessons at the golf course all the time. So you see him there constantly. But he also still plays a lot of golf. And so he played in an event, I'm pretty sure it was an SCPGA event. And he shot 22 strokes under his age. So I think he was 86 and shot a 64, if I remember correctly. So I videoed him. It's not like the most engaging interview, but I interviewed him and just asked him, you know, about that experience. We asked him about it, and you can see here the amount of exposure that got. You know, we reached 21,000 people. It was shared 78 times, and you had a whole bunch of people that saw it and looked at it. Thank you, Tom. And then actually, I ended up filling out John's Guinness Book of World Records. So that's a Guinness Book of World Records. So I ended up completing his Guinness Book of World Records for him so that he could be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Another thing that I didn't include on here, but like viral videos is another good example. Viral videos are things that they go, like my most viral video that we had was, and it could have gone substantially larger viral, was one of our courses. There was a golfer who was on the 18th hole. He's playing, there's a lake. He's an older guy. He swings, he hits the golf ball, and then he falls back into the lake. And that one got shared over 100,000, or had 100,000 views. And we actually got phone calls for it. Or I got phone calls for it from Nickelodeon, MTV, and some major TV stations that wanted to air it. But the guy that shot the video didn't want to go on the go that widespread, so they declined to use it for that purpose. But there's a lot of recognition from golfers. This was a destination golf course, and so it reached 100,000 people that are all golf enthusiasts around the country. I'm going to go back to my list and highlight some folks that are doing it well. And then I also want to make sure, I see Tom, I saw that you left a comment in the chat. I want to make sure that I'm ending. I didn't identify when I was ending for sure, so I'm assuming that it's 9. So can you let me know in the chat just so that I can make sure? I want to highlight some of your members, and then some other folks that I feel like are doing a good job on social media, just to give you a chance to see how they're doing. So this is okay. Perfect. Yeah, good. So this is Bob Laskin. Bob, he's a golf instructor at Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club. He has 14,000 followers, and he gives just golf advice, golf tips, golf things. And what you'll see here, what you notice with Bob is that he's got lots of lessons, right? He's got lots of different folks that he's giving lessons to, and probably doing pretty well with those. You can see that he's winning. There's his golfers are winning contests as he's posting their stats there. He's tagging Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club, so we expand. I manage Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club social media, so we expand their reach when they're doing that. So he's reaching not only, so the value in this is you're sharing these customer testimonials. You've got these golfers that are sharing these videos with their family and friends, and so you're getting them aware of your golf lesson prowess. He's giving tips, so there's some valuable content there for people to learn how to build better skills in their thing. He's showing social proof by showing that he's getting lots of different people giving him lessons. He's getting that lots of different people are getting lessons from him. He's highlighting, he's tagging the different, like our golf course and different organizations that he's involved in. And so all of these things that he is doing are enhancing his, enhancing the amount of lessons he's giving. It's creating higher visibility for the golf course that he's representing. It's doing all sorts of good things for him and for Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club. Let's go to Michael Block. So many of you are probably familiar with Michael Block. Michael Block was actually the winner of the California Golf Course Owners Association staff member of the year, I think it was. And most of that is for like his, as being an ambassador of the game, right? He takes these, he highlights his experiences as one of the top golfers in our area, the different events that he's been involved in and won. You see him here with, there's Albert Pujols and his experiences doing there recently. I know that he went and played in the Amex tournament and PGA West. So he's got some videos and pictures of that. So you can just kind of see all the different things. He's tagging Arroyo Trabuco. He's talking about his whole golf experience. And by doing this, he's just a promoter and advocate of the game. And whenever we share one of his posts on social media, he's the head golf professional at Arroyo Trabuco. But those things get our best traction by far because people know him on the golf course itself, and they want to engage with that, So by being proactive on social media, you're not just helping your own profession and your own career, and you're helping your employer, you're helping the golf courses that you're working with. So that's something that is cool. Now the next I want to point out Mark. So Mark Cagawin, he and I have been involved in a long time, and actually he texted me right before that said that he was looking forward to my presentation. I told him he was in it, so I didn't think he knew that he was in it. So I'm going to highlight some of the stuff here. But let's see. He wanted me to show this one. This is one that he also posted. He just got a job at Oakmont Country Club, I believe. So he wanted me to share this one, but I'm going to show a couple of you just to show you that most people, when they'll think of using social media, they'll think of using it for like, there's two different ways to go about doing it. And you can use like your own skill set or the things that you're good at to help build an audience or to help get people to follow you. So Bob was just an example of a guy who gave kind of straightforward, here's lesson tips, here's things that you're doing. Mark takes a totally different approach, but probably much more valuable in the social media context, because in social media, what happens is there's so many people that post good content about golf lessons or whatever, that there's also an element that needs to be said about entertainment, having golf entertainment. And that's what the big push is with video content is. You not just want to have good content, you also want to be entertaining and engaging. And Mark has done a great job at doing that. And if you look at his follower account, this is his TikTok page, but he's got 38,000 followers. And I'm going to actually share another story from Mark in a minute, but here's one of his videos. Assuming it works. Hold on. Man, let me try another one. This one got 53,000 views, so I'll try to share this one. Bummer. Mark, I'm sorry, it's not going to let me do it. But if you guys get a chance, you could get on TikTok, follow Mark, and you can see these videos that are highly entertaining. They're hilarious, and which is why he has a large following. And I know that when I was doing this presentation a long time ago, he would have, I think he has like 1 million views on a couple of his videos, and he's got some really good traction going on these. So if you want to see some funny stuff, follow somebody who's doing good things on social media, get an idea of a different way that you can use social media, Mark is a great guy to follow. And then, so going on to that, when I was texting with Mark before the presentation today, I asked him like this is what I was kind of telling him. It's like, this is how you grow your career. And then the whole point that brings that first question they ask, what is your ultimate goal? What do you want to accomplish in your career? And I think most of you would agree that you would want to be, seen as leaders in your field, seen as somebody who is promoting and growing the game of golf, seen as somebody that people admire and respect, and the types of things that you will see. And so because of Mark being proactive on social media, one of the things that he also said was, I think he attended one of these a long time ago, and he said that I was one of the inspirations for him to start doing these things. So I appreciate that. But because of this, his whole life has changed, right? He started collaborating with a lot more people in the golf industry. He created a YouTube channel, which he told me has 60,000 people. He's created business partnerships with golf products and businesses that have helped raise money for him and his family. I would dare to imagine that he's gotten more lessons as a result. And I don't know if this had a role in him in his new position, because he was at Sand Canyon Country Club, and so now I think he's at Oakmont Country Club. I don't know if that's the case, but potentially. So all of these things, by being proactive on social media, has drastically not only changed his perception in the golf industry, but have changed his career, has helped bring money to him and his family, has helped all of these things. And I think all of you have a responsibility to try to promote and grow the game of golf, and there's no better way to do that. Oh, this is the one that I was going to show that has 5.8 million views. Here we go. So I'm sure you guys have all experienced that. So that had 5.8 million views, meaning that you got tons of folks doing it. And let me go back and see if that other one will work now that he wanted me to share. Nope, not gonna do it. All right, you guys get the point. You don't have to do it the normal way. And actually, it's probably more advantageous not to do it the normal way, so you can stand out from the crowd. And Mark's done a great job of doing that. So kudos to you, Mark, and glad to see you're on the call today, and I'm looking forward to catching up. I want to tell you what we do at Arroyo Tribuco, and one of the things that I feel like we've built a culture of there is, so I've been working for them for a long time. When I first kind of wrote the book, they were one of my first clients that we got because of the book. Actually, no, I take that back. We were doing it before the book started because they are, we have lots of case studies about them in the book. So we've been working with them since probably 2012, I bet, or 2013. And over the years, we've built this culture there where they know their golfers know that we're going to be sharing their stuff on social media, and they love it, and they do it with the hope that they get on our social media pages. So we have most of the content that we post now is what's called user-generated content. So this is content that we don't take. It's the golfers themselves take. They tag the golf course and they put their comments there. So on a daily basis, we probably have about 5 posts that tag the golf course directly. And oftentimes these are really high quality photos and images. And I showed earlier about Bob. So this is a video from Bob. This is one from Michael Block. And so we highlight those folks that end up taking pictures at a golf course, but it's not just those folks, it's anybody who tags the course. And what you can see is all of these are really high quality photos and images, and we're pulling these directly from our team. This guy, it was his first time ever golfing. He's a hockey player, so a la Happy Gilmore. He got a hole-in-one, his first time ever golfing at a legit golf course, and he got a hole-in-one here. And so they shot this video of it. And so we highlighted that here and in a couple of other places. So that's kind of a remarkable thing, you have all sorts of stuff. So Albert Pujols, he plays here all the time. He'll tag the course. We have a lot of celebrity golfers that will play there. So like, who else is there? Temu Solani. We had a professional wrestler, Salvo Guerrero. Anyways, so we just have different folks that are posting there, and we're sharing that content, and so it makes it really easy where we're reaching folks, we're sharing kind of organic content, we're highlighting our instructors, our golf professionals, and so that's another advantage of golf professionals encouraging your golf courses to have a social media strategy, because it could expand your reach, because people might not follow you for lessons, but they might follow the golf course to see what's happening at the golf course for that particular day, and that's some good info that you can get from there. This is Michael Wolpup. He's the superintendent. So I want to show you some other ways that you can leverage this. He's the superintendent at Arroyo Tribuco. Twitter, so this is his Twitter page. Twitter is great for kind of national. It's not too great to target people locally. So for having a golf course, having a Twitter page is not nearly as important as having an Instagram and a Facebook page. But from a superintendent standpoint, superintendents are a really well-connected group, and a lot of them will use Twitter to interact and engage with each other on a national level. And so you can see that he kind of highlights the different things that he does in his profession to help build him as a leader in this industry. And so he kind of showcases the different things and videos and things that they're doing on the golf course with images and pictures. And those are things that are helping. It's helping him be better in his career. It's helping him highlight the golf course that he's working with. It's helping him, build a reputation for somebody who is doing great things in the golf industry. So he uses Twitter to reach his folks, and he might use other platforms too, but the one that I'm connecting with him is on Twitter. I want to show Monterey. So we just started working for Monterey. So many of you probably know John Kulo, who is in charge of this normally, these Catalyst events, but I know that he had an appointment today that he couldn't make it. So we just started doing their page. So we're intermixing it with content that I took while we're there, of content that was taken at their major events. They just had a member golf tournament, and intermission. There's videos, there's all sorts of things, and so it doesn't take much to get a social media campaign going. So they started with 0. They had 0 followers, and we just started probably like a week or 2 ago, and we've already got this steady list of content. We've got some folks that are winning professional golf tournaments. So this, and I think this is Anna. This is one where they said like this person was one of the top golfers in their area that shot this video, and so that was the very first one that we posted. And you could just see that there's things that you could do and build a following pretty quickly and get people to do it. When you're looking at your social media pages, it's kind of like they're subscribing to your newspaper, you know. So I think with that, I just want to highlight the importance. For me, I personally think that social media is extremely important for golfers, for golf courses and golf professionals to implement at some level, because we should all be responsible for promoting and growing the game, and there's no easier way to do that than just by using your social media presence. So if any of you have any questions, any of you have any thoughts, any of you have any things that I can help you with, I mentioned before, I'm happy to give you a copy of my book, The Social Golf Course, which encourages you to do it. If you have a golf course that you feel like is not doing as good a job as they could on social media, send them over my way, and I'll be happy to at least talk to them about why I feel like they should be doing it. And same thing with you. If you have any questions on how I can help you be a better golf course professional, I'm more than happy to answer that as well. I'm going to put my email in the chat, which is zeb@wellbornmedia.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So if anybody doesn't have any comments or questions, I can take those now.
Bryce, any questions that you see?
Not at this time, Tom.
Okay. Yeah, but take a look at Zeb's email address and any questions you might have. That's a nice offer. Send Zeb the question. And Zeb, we appreciate your time. Really, really informative and well worth the time. So thank you very, very much. And hopefully, and maybe in the future, we'll ask you again and you'll consent to come back on a Catalyst again. Very valuable. So
of course, happy to do it. And thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate and get the opportunity to do this. I love golf and I want to see it do well. And I think like this is the role that I can play in helping make that happen.
Excellent. Thank you. For those of you who want to spread the word on the Catalyst, of course, this webinar will be posted on SCPGA.com and YouTube. So you can take another look at it or invite others to take a look at the great information and be able to use that in the future. So all good. Next week, we do not have a Catalyst scheduled, but in 2 weeks, we have Susie Whaley, the immediate past president of the PGA of America. And a couple of weeks after that, we have another presentation by Andy Tooney, past president of the Southern California PGA, on the history of golf. Andy presented last year and was very popular, so we look forward to that presentation. So with that, thank you, everybody. Bryce, thanks for being in the background. And Zeb, thank you so much again. We appreciate it, and we'll see you at the next Catalyst.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you all.